Box Lowdown, and I'm back here with another video. Now, this weekend we have a big fight in the super welterweight division. JERMELL CHARLO will be taking on Tony Harrison in a rematch of their fight that took place, I believe it was last year, maybe around December last year or early this year, I can't remember, sorry. But it'll be a rematch anyway in particular, and one that I'm really actually looking forward to. Now, going back to that fight, the first fight between these two, JERMELL CHARLO was, he was on the road to superstardom, this guy. Him and his brother, JERMELL CHARLO, they were both, title holders at the time. JERMELL CHARLO, he held the title at light middleweight, then he became champion at middleweight, but I digress. Both of them held titles at the same time, both twin brothers, both, doing very well in the sport, both undefeated. They were doing really well in their particular field, in their divisions. They were stars in Houston. And, the PBC were lining up both of these guys to be, very big fighters on the scene. So, JERMELL CHARLO was expected to defeat Tony Harrison, who has lost before. And he was expected to, maybe not knock him out, but he was expected to put in a good performance. He's been knocking out a lot of people beforehand. And, JERMELL CHARLO was looked at by many as the #1 super welterweight in the world. Even though Jarrett Hurd was the title holder at the time, many were thinking that if he went in there with JERMELL CHARLO would beat him. However, Tony Harrison went in there, didn't read the script, as always is the case in boxing, and he defeated JERMELL CHARLO by decision. Now, the decision with that was me and a few other people didn't really believe that Harrison won that. It was close, it could have gone either way, but Harrison got the decision, and it certainly wasn't a robbery, let me just say that. But I believe that JERMELL CHARLO did enough to win, as some other people did as well. But there were a good few people out there that thought Tony Harrison did enough to win as well. So, at the end of it, what matters is Tony Harrison did get the decision. JERMELL CHARLO lost his WBC title. And since then, these two guys have been really at each other's throats, man. It has been absolutely heated between these two. If you guys seen the face-offs or, the press conferences or even the slews that they've been going back and forth with online, these two really can't stand each other. And I think it's even worse since Tony Harrison won the belt. They've been calling each other all sorts of names, and I don't know, man. It's just been, it's entertaining to me. It's been entertaining for me to watch, and it just makes the rematch even more interesting. I'm really looking forward to it. And it gives the chance for JERMELL CHARLO to seek redemption and put his name back on amongst the, the superstars in boxing the way he wants to be. Or it could be another victory for Tony Harrison, who obviously feels like he's got JERMELL CHARLO's number. I mean, he's very confident in how he's talking about fighting JERMELL CHARLO in the rematch. We know what his strategy will be. His strategy will be to box and move. And I think JERMELL CHARLO in that first fight was just being a bit too, he was being a bit too knockout hungry. He was just looking for the knockout too much. And that was why he was getting thrown off by Tony Harrison. And, going into this fight, he's going to have to go in there with a clear head and not let it get to him, because he's been getting too emotional for me, JERMELL CHARLO. I mean, the way how he's been acting, not just before this fight, I mean, recently, he's just been getting very emotional before his fights, and maybe that might have an effect on his performance. If he goes into the ring this weekend against Harrison, being all emotional and, not thinking about the task at hand, then, it could fall into Harrison's hands and he could box his way to another victory. I'm sure that his trainer, Derek James, who is a very good trainer, also trains Errol Spence, will drum it into JERMELL CHARLO's head, the game plan of what he needs to do. And, I'm sure that he'll think that his fighter can come out with a victory this time and get revenge. We've seen quite a few fights now over the last, we've seen it with Joshua and Andy Ruiz, where the fighter going into the rematch manages to get revenge. And I think that could be the case for JERMELL CHARLO here. I think that he could get revenge over Tony Harrison. But if he goes into the ring emotional or just, just fighting, not with a clear head, and that could happen. I mean, it's not out of the realms for that to happen with JERMELL CHARLO. If he goes into the fight any less 100% focused, then I'm picking Tony Harrison to win it again. But if he does come in focused and he does come switched on and not knockout hungry, just looking for the knockout, then I think he has enough to take Tony Harrison out of there, because I do believe he is probably the hardest puncher in the division, JERMELL CHARLO. And, he does have boxing skills as well. I mean, he's not just a puncher. He is very quick. And I think that he does throw punches in bunches when he can. And, he has that attitude when he sees somebody hurt, he'll get them out of there. But the important thing for him is just not to just go looking for the knockout like he was against Tony Harrison, because we know what will happen. So, very good fight, very interesting, very intriguing. No UK broadcaster for it, though, at the moment. So, It's looking like we're going to have to find some sort of stream sites out there to watch the fight. But if that does change between now and the weekend, I'll let you guys know. But let me know your thoughts on the fight itself, man. What are your predictions going into this one? Do you think that Tony Harrison will get repeat and get another victory over JERMELL CHARLO? Or do you think that Charlo will get his revenge and become WBC champion once again? Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.